Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The start of the game felt like the guys had great energy and we were moving around, and first quarter went our way, but then it turned into playing 3 more quarters against a really good team, and all 3 phases we just contributed to a lopsided loss.
Shoots and deflected in. Mansagi scores.
Friends, right? We reached out to our friends, our Detroit GMC dealers. And they decided that they wanted to give you this GMC Acadia. That's yours, my friend. That's yours, man.
The Michigan State football team returns from its bye week this Saturday at Illinois, and the last time we saw the Spartans take the field was 2 weeks ago at Spartan Stadium when it suffered a 47-10 loss to now 5th-ranked Indiana. MSU jumped out to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter, but the Hoosiers responded with 47 unanswered points. Michigan State is now 4-5 this season with 3 games remaining in the regular season, so the Spartans need 2 more wins to become bowl eligible. And this week we sat down with head coach Jonathan Smith to talk about his team entering the home stretch of this season. Coming off the loss to Indiana and going into the bye, what was the biggest goal throughout the bye week?
Well, we definitely wanted to improve, and we practiced middle of the week, emphasized on a couple of things that just showed up the last couple of weeks in games, and so needed an opportunity to, you want to improve, but I also want to freshen up, getting later in the year here, and so we just selectively, but kind of like we did the previous bye, 2 practices, emphasize on ourselves, and then move forward to a game against Illinois. Yeah,
having 2 byes in a season, I know that doesn't happen every year. So how can that help a group, especially when you have a couple injuries add up?
Right, on the injury side, right, to hopefully get a few guys back, but also it's an opportunity where they landed after 6 games and 9 games to take a look at yourself and emphasize some things, put more emphasis on a few areas that we want to be better at.
With that Indiana game, what do you feel like maybe was the biggest difference from the first quarter and throughout the rest of the game? Like, did anything change?
Well, credit to those guys. That's a good football team, and I think they're showing that week in and week out. Early in the game, got some quality play offensive moving the ball, and then again, games go with adjustments, right? And then a couple plays here or there can make a difference, and those guys Indiana did a nice job in the back half of that game.
Yeah, one of the players that ended up leaving with an injury, Charles Brantley, it seemed like he was playing really well at the beginning of that game before his injury. What kind of difference can that make for a secondary when you have a playmaker like that is sort of locking down one side?
Yeah, Chuck's really had a nice year for us. Covering that position is particularly important, right? We play against good passing games, receivers, all of that, and Chuck has been playing at a high level. And so, the guy goes down. This game is physical, and it happens to a lot of teams, right? And the next guy needs to be able to step in. And, we've got some other guys in the game, and I think we've got some depth there. We've played more than just one to replace him, but we'd love to have, Chuck on the field.
Yeah, a couple true freshmen were able to see the field against Indiana and throughout the season with Justin Denson and Jalen Thompson. I know you love development with your program, and so how can them playing so early in their careers really ignite their development?
Well, yeah, and it definitely helps to add to their motivation, right, to get snaps in the game. There's only one way to totally recreate the game is put them in there, and there's a ton to learn from, and for them to experience that's only going to help their development. And we've been pleased with those 2 in particular, but really the whole freshman class on how they've been working and excited about the future.
3 games left in the regular season. I know it's 1 game at a time, but do you at all put any focus on, like, hey, we need 2 wins to reach bowl eligibility?
Not a ton. I mean, just because the reality is you play 1 at a time. And so you want to get the results you want, you focus on what's right in front of you. We're well aware, the team's well aware of what the stakes are for these next 3 games, but we got to play them 1 at a time, and we're going to approach it that way.
How do you play your best brand of football in the month of November? Like, what is key for that?
Well, we need to find some balance offensively. We're at our best there on that side of the ball when we have balance running and throwing it, and then playing some football where the field position plays into it, defense stops or a turnover too to help the offense, and then vice versa, punching in scores. And then, special teams wise, we feel like we've got some quality talent at specialists with Eckley, and then obviously Jonathan Kim's been great all year, putting those guys in situations where Kim can contribute, not just on making a few field goals, but on the kickoff sides of it. We'd love to be kicking off a ton, and then it's almost vice versa with Eckley, right, when punting the ball. But punting's not always bad, but we don't want to be running Eckley out there a bunch.
I know you don't control the schedule, but I believe you're the only program in the country that has played 3 of the top 5 teams currently. How can that help a Group 2 when you are at year 1 at a program? How can that help?
I think perspective helps. I mean, that's where you want to get to, be top 5 in the country. And yeah, we've run into a few of those guys, and the good football teams. And there's times in those games in particular where you can play at that level, and that's where we want to get to. We want to do it for a longer period of time.
You started your press conference by talking about the women's soccer team reaching in the NCAA tournament, men's basketball about to play Kansas. How have you really just embraced, I guess, the other sports that are on campus right now?
Enjoyed getting to know those coaches to start, and then being able to follow them closely here. Like I mentioned, going to the hockey game Saturday night, watching a great crowd. Adam's got those guys playing at a really high level. That's been enjoyable. Shoot, some of the time I was watching the game with Coach Izzo, right? So I think all of us as coaches here at Michigan State feel optimistic and enjoy watching other teams.
In the loss to Indiana, Michigan State sophomore quarterback Aiden Childs left the game with an injury and did not return. At his press conference this week, Jonathan Smith said it is very likely Childs plays at Illinois. And coming up after the break, we're going to share the story of one Michigan State football player and the very special bye week they had last week. We'll have that story for you right after the break.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The Michigan State football team had their second bye week of the season last week, and while it allowed players to rest up and get ready for the final 3 games of the regular season, it also allowed redshirt junior defensive back Amarion Smith to be surprised on the ABC morning show Good Morning America. Amarion Smith has played in 7 games this season for the Michigan State football team, and while he's trying to tackle opponents, he's been facing an even bigger challenge off the field.
Amarion's been through a lot, and continuing to get support here locally and then now on the national level. I think it's a great thing that he's experienced for him and his family.
Smith became the legal guardian of his 4 younger siblings after his mother died of cancer back in August, and has been taking care of his family on top of being a Division I athlete. His story caught waves locally in the Lansing area.
Well, Michigan State's football team took down Florida Atlantic on Friday 16-10. So with no game on Saturday, many of the players and fans gathered at a local McDonald's in Lansing to show support and help raise money for redshirt junior defensive back Amarion Smith, whose mother recently lost her battle with breast cancer.
It's warm to my heart. Me and my family is very bringing a lot of happiness. A lot of happiness. We're very happy, very appreciative. For everybody that helped out and supported, showing a lot of love. And for the whole entire university to come through and stuff, it's a lot of love. I ain't never felt this much love in my life. So it's like, it means real family is really genuine. You know, like, it's nothing like, nothing forced, you know, they doing it out of love of their heart, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody has to do anything, you know what I'm saying? And just for them to take us in, like, you know, as family and treat us as their own is just a blessing for real, you know, I can't even explain.
The support Omarion and his family have received has now grown nationally.
And we know your siblings, they're all at home, they're all watching, so let's wave to them. Hello, siblings. Yes, hello, everybody.
Miss you guys so much. Most definitely.
Last Wednesday, Smith and one of his younger brothers, Armand, were guests on Good Morning America with NFL Hall of Famer Michael Strahan.
So what do you think? We came down here, you said this reminds you of being at your grandmother's house, except for now you're actually on that TV that you used to watch.
Yeah, you know, waking up early mornings on the weekend or whatnot, weekdays, you know. Good Morning America, my grandma watched the news, so, you know, it just automatically pops up on her TV, you know, and then, like, being able to be here and all, it's just different, man. It's a blessing.
Strahan shared their story and then revealed 3 surprises for the Smith family. The first being a $40,000 check from Cash App to help set up the Smith family for the future. Then the next was a free vacation to Disneyland on Disney's behalf. As for the third surprise, it went like this.
You just got your driver's license, I heard.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. How do you get around right now?
You know, it's kind of hard, but like not really. You know, I pay for Ubers a lot. I'm trying to cut back on that, you know, because it's taking a lot of my money. And then
I can imagine that.
You know, I try to, you know, I got teammates or whatnot, you know, that look out for me. So, yeah.
You got some good support there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of support there. You know, there's people that's around, like, you know, in the Spartan community that helps out as well, you know. So, yeah, shout out to everybody that's been helping, you know. It's a blessing, you know. Thank you so much.
Well, you're on GMA, right? Reminds you of growing up with your grandmother and all this stuff. And I got something else. Come on, man. Come on with me.
Oh, I'm following you.
Come on, follow me.
Okay,
follow me. Let's go. We're going to go outside for a second because, oh, man, we know you spend so much on Ubers that we got one last surprise for you. Our friends, right? We reached out to our friends, our Detroit GMC dealers. And they decided that they wanted to give you this GMC Acadia. That's yours, my friend. That's yours, man.
Get your family around.
Thank you so much, man. This is crazy, bro. Like, what, man?
Go, you can get in it. Go ahead and get in it, man. This is yours.
What?
It was a special moment for Omarion and Armand during their first visit to New York City, and Michigan State head football coach Jonathan Smith said it's been surreal to see the support the Smith family has received.
What he's gone through is unbelievable, but the way he has handled it and the camaraderie of his teammates trying to support, he's been a great example for this program, the type of person he is and what he continues to do.
Oh no, like I'm just feeling I feel love, man. Like this is ridiculous, man.
Well, we saw your story. You say you feel the love. We see the love that you show to your siblings and to everybody every day.
Sure.
So you're an inspiration to all of us. All of you are. You and your whole family. I know your siblings are watching. So we just wanted to help you guys as much as we can.
There is also a GoFundMe to offer support for the Smith family financially. As of this week, the GoFundMe is up to over $300,000 with a goal of $500,000. As for another feel-good story, we're going to be chatting with head coach Leah Johnson after the break to talk about a very special member of her program. We'll see you soon.
I love getting out and trying new things. But my seizures have always kept me back. Thankfully, the providers and researchers at MSU Healthcare work together to get my epilepsy under control. So now, I can try anything.
At MSU Healthcare, helping you do you is what matters most to us. In fact, it's our mission. Visit healthcare.msu.edu to find a provider.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The season is winding down for the Michigan State volleyball team, and while the record may not be where head coach Leah Johnson would like it to be, there is someone a part of the program who knows how to brighten the team's spirits. Tatum is a 9-year-old from Mason who is a part of Team Impact and is on the Michigan State volleyball team. Team Impact is a program that signs children with an illness or disability to college athletic teams all across the country, and we recently caught up with Johnson to talk more about Tatum and the impact she's had with the Spartans.
Going through the roster online, you go all the way to the bottom and you see someone named Tatum there. Yes. Can you explain a little bit more about Tatum and who she is to this program?
Yeah, so we added Tatum just a few weeks ago from the Team Impact organization, and she just joined our team and is now officially a Spartan as a member of our roster. And Tatum is a 9-year-old girl who has unique abilities, right, and may never experience life as a true college student like we know. And so adding her to our team and giving her this once-in-a-lifetime experience at such a young age, I think provides her an experience she may never get. And she's so funny. She comes to practice and she's shagging the balls and she's running in circles and she yells, "Go green," and the team just adores her. So there's so much joy in her presence.
Yeah, when you are going through a season where maybe you're coming off a very tough loss and you see someone like Tatum show up and help cheer this group up, what does that just do for the coaches but also the players too, to just to maybe forget about stuff?
Yeah, I think there's perspective in it, and I was actually speaking with her parents, and they, her dad said, "I hope this is good for you guys too." And I said, "Well, it's not about us. Right? It's good for you. It's good for your family. It's good for, the experience she can have and the opportunity she gets that maybe otherwise she doesn't." But he said, "No, we want it to be equally beneficial." And I said, "Well, that's really special," and it has been.
How did it all come about of her being a part of this program?
Really interesting, and I think a testament to the team culture is one of our values is serve. And Avery Harishi is a senior right now, and she got involved in the summer intern program with Team Impact, which is headquartered, I think, in Chicago, and they help place these children with different sports teams. And so she wanted Michigan State to have a Team Impact athlete, and so she spent the last year working on that. And we have a leadership group that's in charge of it. Brittany Kimball, our brand ambassador, helps and supports our leadership team, but really it's theirs. She is their peer, their team member.
She comes to a lot of the games and practices?
Yeah, she comes to practices, she comes to matches, she joins us in the locker room for pregame talk, postgame meal. She's around as much as she can. And I know they attend a lot of other events, and their whole family's decked in green and white. It's awesome.
The volleyball program certainly knows how to keep their spirits up with additions like Tatum to the roster. And one of the players who also knows how to bring the energy is senior Grace Kelly. We'll chat with her right after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The Michigan State volleyball team is just scratching the surface of the program's potential under head coach Leah Johnson. And much like the program, senior Grace Kelly has been able to level up her game both on and off the court. Kelly recently sat down with our Haley Schoengart to share more on how she has grown as a player as well as a person in more ways than one.
Hi, Grace, or should I call you Grack?
Grack.
How did that nickname come about?
It started off as like my alternate persona for, like, I'm a very aggressive competitive player. And for a while, that's who I called Grack at my previous school. And then when I came here, some of my teammates got a hold of it and just started calling me that in general. And then the coaches and somehow in the entire East Lansing community got a hold of it. And so now Grace Kelly doesn't live here, Grack does.
In what ways is Grack different from Grace Kelly?
Not a lot anymore. I feel like they've finally become one person. I struggled a lot with self-confidence on the court a lot of the times. Like, errors were my biggest enemy. Anytime I made an error, you could tell my play would just decline from there. But Grack is someone who doesn't care about errors. Like, errors happen. If anything, I'm going to get more kills than errors. So allowing those two mindsets to like cancel each other out has really allowed me to find a new consistent level of my game.
You were a competitive swimmer as a kid. How did you first get introduced to volleyball?
I was at a swim meet, actually, and one of the dads on the other team knew a parent on my swim team, something of that nature, and went to that parent and said, what sport does that girl play? Because by like age 9, I think I was 5'10". And my mom knew nothing about volleyball, just like absolutely nothing. And she was like, okay. So one day she asked me, she was like, do you want to try this out? Like, your friends are going to be doing it, you can do it. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'll do that. And after my first year of rec, that same parent was like, you need to get that girl into club.
How was that transition from a very individual sport like swimming to a team sport like volleyball?
It's hard to remember now, but I do remember a lot of internal-ish like conflict, because in swimming, like, you could train for months and months and months and see little to no improvement. Like, you see a 0.01 second and you're like, yes. Volleyball, there's something going on every single play. There's something new to train every single day that immediately has an effect. I was always in this mindset of, oh my God, this is gonna take months. This is gonna take forever to figure out. Really, I just needed a few extra reps at it. That's how volleyball is. And so learning that was a big part of this whole error thing, and still something I struggle with today.
Following high school, Grace chose to stay close to home and committed to play volleyball at Virginia Tech University.
Virginia Tech is what they say. It's like they call it, this is home, and it's true. Like, no matter where I was on that campus, I always felt like I had a place at home. That's why when I left, I knew I needed to find somewhere that gave me the same thing, like the same feeling, and that's what I have found here at Michigan State too. Coming in was scary. An entirely new team, I think minus like 3 girls that had been here previously. It was definitely a learning year. We were all getting comfortable with each other, getting comfortable with our environment. And I think for what we had and what we've built thus far, it's incredible.
What attracted you to Michigan State when you were in the transfer portal looking around?
Definitely the coaches. Immediately, I felt a sense of familiarity with them, and I'd only known them for, at this point, days. And I felt like I had known them for a long time. I could tell them anything. I could talk to them about anything. It just felt so natural, if that makes sense. Like, it was the first time since my last school that I had felt that again, and for me, that was a sign.
That relationship with Coach Leah Johnson is one that led Grace to meeting with a sports psychologist.
I don't even think I realized how much goes on up here that I'm not conscious about. Like, the things I'm telling myself, I was not aware how detrimental so much of it could be to not only like my game and how I play, but to myself as a person, like my own identity. And I'm gonna be honest, at first when she like advised me to do so, I was a little offended. I was like, you think I need to, like, what's wrong with me to the point where I need to go see someone for this? But learning otherwise was I was filled with so much relief. Would I have ever made that step myself? Probably not, and I don't know who I'd be today if I had never made that step.
If you could go back and tell your freshman year self something, what would it be?
Trust the process. I think this entire 4 years, I've been reflecting a lot recently. We have, 4 weeks left. I'm looking at the finish line right now, and it's just trust the process. There's so many unforeseen ups and downs that I couldn't have even imagined, that it's so easy to get lost in them. It's so easy to get lost in the highs, and it's so much easier to get lost in the lows. But to always know that there's a plan, there's a process to everything I'm doing. Everything I do or is being done has a reason. It might not be known yet, but there is a reason, and to trust it.
The volleyball team has 5 matches left this season, which includes a 3-game homestand beginning with Oregon on Thursday, November 21st. That is going to be it for this week's show. As always, we hope you enjoyed. And before we go, our play of the week goes to Michigan State hockey freshman Shane Van Sage, who scored the go-ahead goal in Michigan State's win over Ohio State on Saturday, helping the Spartans sweep the Buckeyes at Munn Ice Arena.
Now, the play of the week, sponsored by Schupan & Sons.
Asgel now with it, shoots and deflected in. Van Sage scores! Someone get the puck. Shane Van Sage's first goal.
10,000 children in Michigan are in foster care. Many are in need of a temporary home. Are you open?
As a foster parent, you help a child reach their goals.
You make a game-changing assist.
You give a child the home advantage.
And you do it because you know every child deserves a special team.
Ready to cheer on a child? Take the first step to become a foster parent today.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.